What's up, everybody? Jason from Straight Edge Knives. Hey, we got another knife review for you today. I'm pretty excited about this, guys, because this is a company that I've been wanting to get my hands on one of their blades for a while now, and thanks to the Knife Connection, I finally was able to get a hold of one, and I'm excited to do a review on it. And guys, check this out. This is the Half Face Blades Ishi. Uh, Man, this thing is just gorgeous. Let's get this out of the sheath. Give you a look at it real quick. Check this thing out. Just a gorgeous looking blade. Everything on this blade looks really, really nice. Fit and finish looks really good. Has a wicked tip, wicked edge. I mean, look at this jimping on the back here for your thumb. You guys see that? Looks super aggressive. You're like, oh, that looks like it hurt. It doesn't. You put your thumb on here and it just feels nice, grippy. So you come in and do those hard, slashes or cuts. I mean, it feels really, really good in the hand. This black burlap micarta handle scales with this iron grip texturing they put on here looks fantastic. I was just really, really blown away about how nice this blade looks as it came out of the box. But on this channel, we do like to test the knives out because it may look nice, but how's it going to perform? Well, we're going to find out when we get over the testing area. But before we even get to that, guys, if you want to keep your blades like this looking really nice and spiffy, Wicked Industries, one of the sponsors of our channel, makes Wicked Wax and Wicked Clean, guys. Two fantastic products. I utilize the Wicked Clean to clean all the gunk and stuff off my blade, and then I'll come in and put a nice protective coat of Wicked Wax, not only on the blade, but you can put it on the handle scales as well. Helps keep them looking, makes them pop. Helps keep them moisturized, if you will. Hey, handle scales need moisturizer too, just like our hands, guys, right? But you can utilize Wicked Wax on micarta, G10, Kieranite, resin, bone, whatever it is. You can put Wicked Wax on there. It's all natural, all safe, food grade safe, made here in the USA. Great products, guys. And then, after you're done doing your reviews, your hands are beat up, your knuckles are bloody, utilize Wicked Rescue. Helps keep your hands moisturized, helps those little wounds heal up a little bit faster. This stuff's all natural as well. If you got dried feet, cracked hands, elbows, and knees and stuff, utilize Wicked Rescue. Help get you moisturized, help get you back in the game, right? Those ladies don't like them alligator elbows, fellas. I'm just saying. But let's get back to the Half Face Blades Ishi, guys. So again, the Knife Connection, a very cool online knife store ran by a guy named Jason. He carries Half Face Blades. He's an authorized dealer for him. And so I was able to pick this one up from him. Very, very nice looking blade. And if you guys haven't checked out the Knife Connection, make sure you go over there and check them out. Not only they carry Half Face Blades, but they carry numerous other brands. Some other brands that are harder to find as well. So definitely go over there and check out the Knife Connection. They got a lot of cool stuff on their website. Go look them up, guys. It's worth it. So I got this from the Knife Connection. I just really, when I first got it out of the box, I was like, oh man, is this thing gonna fit my big old meat paw? I wear XL gloves. I got giant hands, and this thing fits just perfect. Like my fat fingers up here in the choil, my fat pinkies back here on the little swoop, just boom, nice little full grip hammer. I can hammer grip this nicely. I can flip it around, put my thumb over the top, got a nice reverse grip. If I got to do some reverse grip type stuff, whatever that is, it feels really good. Coming in for like that reverse draw, for those guys that like to do those kind of reverse pull cuts, I can still get my hand in here nicely. The choil here is sitting right on top of the meaty part of my finger, of my palm here, nicely. It's sitting there, but it's not digging in. And then neither is this part right here on the bottom. It's not digging into my palm either, my part right here. So I could do those nice pull cuts for a while too if I needed to. Just feels really good overall, all the way around in the hand. When I got the knife, it came with a Kydex sheath. I did put this Deep Carry Concepts pocket clip on here. It did come with an ulti clip on there, so just be aware that it'll come with an ulti clip. Nice suede line sheath, guys. So this thing slides in nicely, just slides right in, quiet as a mouse, slides right out, quiet as a mouse, but it's got really good retention. I would say that I'm guessing that suede is acting as, there is a little bit of a lockup on that finger choil right here, but I think that suede's really helping to keep that knife in there. There's no rattle at all. this thing is not coming out of the sheath unless you draw it out. I mean, I have to put an effort to unsheath the knife. So the Kydex works really, really good. I do wish it had a little bit of a thumb wrap. This is shaved down. Maybe that's for concealability purposes or something to that effect. I wish it had a little bit of a thumb wrap. I've gotten really used to, just deploying my knives by utilizing a thumb wrap to help push off and draw out. So it's something I have to adjust to a little bit. But the sheath works really good. Other than that, it has a nice drain hole down here as well. Now this does have suede in it, so if you do get this wet, you could potentially have issues with that suede material getting a little funky down the road. You definitely make sure you dry this out as fast as possible if it does get wet. That could be a possible con as well, so keep that in mind. But it does protect that beautiful midnight bronze Cerakote finish on here. And then I did go online and I purchased one of their leather sheaths. So check this sheath out. Very nice brown leather sheath, very classy looking, has a half face blade logo right in there. It has a backing on here where you can carry it horizontal or scout style. The knife fits in there very snugly. Obviously it's a brand new leather sheath, though it is going to take a little bit of a break-in period. Their sheaths are kind of set up to carry multiple versions of different knives. So if you buy one sheath, and I think this fits like the Crow Junior and a couple other ones. So keep that in mind. Like once you buy one leather sheath, if you do buy other blades, you might be able to fit them in there. But I would also keep in mind that these leather sheaths do kind of conform to the blade shapes over time. So the next blade may or may not fit in there properly. So I could be wrong on that. Half face blades, if you're watching this, let us know in the comments. We would greatly appreciate it. But there is a little bit of a break-in period with this. But I mean, I think it gives it with this setup, the way this blade looks right now, and this leather sheath, man, this is the combo right here to me, man. This is nice. I mean, I could get dressed up in my Western wear for a night out on the town, have this on my hip, and it's going to look nice, but also have a good functional tool, right? So that's something to keep in mind. The sheath wasn't bad. I think it was like $45 or something like that on their website. So don't quote me on that. I will have a link to the website down below, so you can go look those up if you're so interested. But definitely worth looking into getting a leather sheath for it as well. Why not have both options? If you can. It's nice. Sometimes you want Kydex, sometimes you want leather. Depends on what you want to do. But let's get into the specs on this, guys. So this is the Half Face Blades Ishi, as we said before. Overall, you're looking at 7.7 inches. You have a blade length of 3.7 inches. Your blade steel thickness is 0.13. You're looking at S45 VN steel, so a very high quality steel. This one has the black burlap micarta with the midnight bronze Cerakote. You have TI Torx bolts, and this has what I'm assuming it says iron grip, but I'm assuming that's the texturing that is on the handle scales. Now, this is a production version of the knife, guys. The Half Face Blades does production versions of knives, and then they have like their custom versions of knives. And their customs are gorgeous. It'd literally be the same knife, but they would have some mammoth, ancient mammoth bone handle scales, or they've done some really wild but yet gorgeous stuff. And so there is some price differences, guys, between like their production lines and then their custom stuff. So obviously their custom stuff, the handle materials are way more expensive, so you're going to be paying for that. But man, if you want a beautiful collector's piece, definitely check out their custom stuff. They're always doing drops, so make sure you're checking out their website. And on the Knife Connection, they actually do have quite a few of the somewhat custom pieces on there with like the really nice handle scales and things like that. Not to say that this production model isn't nice. This is just a gorgeous blade as well, but I guess it just depends on what you want the knife for, or what are you going to use it for. Hey, if you have the money and you can buy the $900 mammoth ivory meteorite handle scale version of this blade, then hey, by all means, go for it, buy it and use it. You do what you want to do. But they do make some really, really cool limited edition type drops and things like that. So definitely worth looking into. And again, if something's out on Half Face Blades website, you can always definitely go check out the Knife Connection, because they have a lot of really cool options on there as well. So there is like 3 different versions of this blade on the website right now. You have this one with the midnight bronze, and there's a black Cerakote one, and then I think there's another one. I can't remember exactly which one it is, but there are different colorway options available for this knife. But guys, we've talked about this knife enough. Oh, by the way, this American-owned company, a veteran-owned company. The owner who started it is a former Navy SEAL. He's really big into hunting and a lot of stuff like that. Does a lot for the veteran community as well, from what I understand. So that's awesome. So definitely go check out what they're doing as far as that realm goes. They also sell hot sauces and apparel and things like that. So they got a lot of, they're in their hands, got their fingers in a lot of little different things, but primarily they're a blade company first, and yeah, they're making a nice blade. So, but without further ado, guys, let's get over to that testing area and let's see what this little what I'm considering a belt knife can do. All right, everybody, we're at the testing area. Let's get this Ishii out of the sheath. We're out here in the sunlight, so it'll give you a nice little bit of a better look at it. Check that out. Again, very cool looking color scheme set up with that black burlap micarta midnight bronze Cerakote. You gotta love it. And guys, you might see some light fluctuation. It is a little bit cloudy out here today. Got overcast, so it gets bright and gets dark. So please forgive me of that. I can't control that. But guys, let's get to it, guys. So here we got a catalog. This one's a little beat up. I actually need to go find some more of these. But what we're gonna do here, guys, this is pretty much strictly for the penetration test, right? This isn't a big chopper, guys. You're not gonna sit here and be doing some heavy chopping. So I mean, this is, like I said, a EDC belt knife for most of your general all-around tasks, probably some more woodworking stuff. Is this a big batoner, a big chopper? No, but it's going to serve well for those EDC tasks and possibly those self-preservation tasks against the zombies and whatnot. So we're going to come in here and see what kind of penetration we can get. So we got definitely a good 3/4 of the way through the catalog there with that stab, guys. Let's put this down. Let's do another one. Driving it in there. Almost all the way through. It started to press through and then backed out a little bit. That tip is just right here. So it pretty much went all the way through. Tip is barely right here. So definitely can get some good penetration with that, drop point, almost spear tip like. It's almost like not quite a drop point, but not quite a spear point. It's like a nice mashup in between, in my opinion. So it's definitely going to be able to give you some of that good piercing penetration, especially like if you got to get into some like clothing and stuff like that. So here's what's left of these pants. And hello. I don't know why I did that. Man. But anyway, so right here we have what's like, part of the front pocket, the inner pocket lining, the little coin pocket, guys. This is definitely a thick point part of the pant. Look at that. It pierced right into all 3 of those layers. And you come in here, just cut right out. I mean, that was very easy. Like I'm barely touching the tip of this knife to the pants. So right here, I'm just barely touching it, and that tip is already right there. So it just gives you a good idea of like, this has got a really good needle tip point, guys, for, like I said, that piercing stuff. Sharpness, guys, this thing feels really sharp out of the box, but we always got to put it up against the fire hose, because the fire hose is made to go through car wreckage, broken glass, all that bad stuff, guys. This is 2 layers of canvas, a layer of rubber that's glued inside. Between that alone, it's rough on a knife edge. Not to mention that this did come off of an old fire truck. It's got dirt and grime kind of embedded in the material, so it's definitely rough on a knife edge. So, and what's nice is I'm about ready to cut into this. Instead of, I can actually pinch grip this really nice as well. So I can come in here, pinch grip, start cutting in. Oh yeah, let's cut through that like butter. Bam. Nice clean cut. Cut through that. No issues whatsoever. Still got a hair popping sharp blade. Half face blades, those guys are into hunting a lot too. So I can imagine that this knife has a lot of good skinning capabilities to it as well, probably because it has a nice thin edge. Stab right through there. So you'll be able to pierce into that hide and maybe do some skinning and stuff like that. So definitely can pierce through all the fire hose. So getting into those EDC tasks that we were talking about, guys, you know, you're going to be cutting rope, paracord, stuff like that. It's typically stuff you do on an everyday basis, or, you know, in a warehouse or something like that. I mean, yeah, you're going to be able to come through here, cut all the paracord you want all day long. You're not going to have any issues with that whatsoever. Nice and easy there. We have this thicker kind of cotton rope or synthetic rope. It's definitely a little bit thicker. Come through, cut through that stuff nicely as well. Bam, no problem there. We got the old sissy rope. And this stuff is definitely rough on a knife edge as well. This one is particularly weird because it seems like it was dipped in WD-40. It's slicker than snot crap, but you know, sometimes it's a little weird cutting this because the blade just like wants to slide right off. It's weird, but bam, yeah, cut through it nicely. Didn't have too much of an issue there, guys. That's nice. I mean, that nice edge biting in there and digging through it. Like I said, I have other knife edges that like to just slide right off of that. So definitely working well. Again, I said this isn't a chopper, guys. We had to come in and do a little light chop to cut a rope kind of quickly. Yeah, I cut it pretty good there. Got the sissy rope here. Cut that. Paracord. Cut that right there. Cut that right there. So, yeah, you can definitely come in and do some quick little chops. Let's check that edge. Again, like I said, it's got a thinner edge for sure. Very acute edge. And chopping through there and hitting this stump, it didn't do anything to the edge whatsoever. Kind of interesting fun fact, guys, if you're watching this still. I am going through and looking up YouTube videos on half-face blades and stuff. I have not seen very many use review videos where people are doing this type of stuff with it. So I might be one of the first. I don't know. I don't think I am, but there's not a ton of videos out there of people actually putting these blades to use. So you're kind of getting a nice, good look at them in action. So come through here. This is 3,000 PSI rated pressure washer hose. Come through there, cut through that stuff. You guys don't know this pressure washer hose has actually a layer of plastic inside, and then it has like a fabric around that plastic, and then you got the rubber. So it's definitely a harder material to cut. You guys can see that there's that material. But you can come in here, do some press cuts, cut chunks off if you need to without any issues, or cut through it, and it's going to do just fine. On the almost forgot this rope. I got rope in two different buckets. Here we got this yellow sissy rope, which is all come untangled and became a mess. We'll have to fix that later. So got the yellow, not sissy rope, yellow synthetic rope. This is it's braided line. There's hundreds of smaller fibers to it, so bam, look at that, cutting through that easy. A lot of truckers and construction guys use this stuff for tying down loads. So, you might have to cut some of that up. Bam, you can come through and cut it without any issues there either. Guys, we have the extension cord. This 3-layer, there's copper wire in here. There's 3 different layers. There's 3 different pieces of copper wire. There's 3 different protective sheaths over that wire. Plus you have the orange covering too. It's definitely not the easiest thing to cut through, but we're going to cut through it anyway, because that's what we do on this channel. So come in here. Whoop, slid out, barely left one little piece. Let's try that again. Bam. Nice clean cut through all that wire and that protective sheathing. If you had to come in again, this isn't a chopper, guys. We're going to choke back a little bit. There it went. You guys saw that fly off. Let's check that edge, guys. Cutting through wire and stuff, that's not easy. It could be rough on an edge. Man, that's still... Whew. That's still... You guys see my hairs on there? A bald spot right there. That's still hair popping sharp, guys. So right here in the corner of my hand, you see how I'm hairy right there? Whew. See those hairs falling off? That's that nice little bald spot right there. So it's still got a hair popping sharp edge going through some copper, fire hose, stuff like that. Now, granted, that's EDC stuff. We should expect it to still be sharp. So, guys, here is, now we're going to get into the wood stuff, guys. I like to do, I like to do tent stakes or vampire stakes, right? A combination of both, because sometimes you go out hiking, you might need to set up an emergency tarp or something like that. You gotta make a tent stake. So we're going to lock our hand down right here. We're just going to shave some wood off and see what it does, baby. So, coming in here and shaving off wood like this, whittling away, if you will, like sitting there next to Grandpa, drinking a glass of bourbon, smoking a cigar, talking about the good old days, and you could whittle away. You could easily come in and whittle down a tent stake or a vampire stake. I like to do the light chop method to speed up the process. Although on this one, I almost don't feel like I need to because that got down there pretty quick. So, I mean, it was hogging the material off. But just for demonstration purposes, sometimes if you're in a hurry, come in, do some light chops like this. Helps get you down to a quicker point. And then you can come in here, make it as, acute or blunt as you need it, depending on your needs. Again, we like to be prepared for those vampire gophers. So there you go. You're ready to rock and roll. Got to make a notch in here. So this one I already made a notch in, but we're going to do a different notch right here. So you need to make a notch to, especially if we're going to use this as a tent stake. You need a notch to be able to lash your paracord around, your rope, things like that. So I like doing this just because it helps simulate a little bit of the bushcrafty type of stuff you might need to do with your knife. Bam, like that. You can save these little pieces for making a fire. But right there's the notch. Worked really well. No problems right there. Dug into the wood just fine. So you got your stake here. Well, we got two stakes essentially. We need to split these. Now, is this a batoning knife, guys? No, it's not. But we are going to do a little bit of light batoning with it, just to demonstrate that if you had to, you could do a little bit of light batoning and stuff like that with your blade. Bam. Cut it off right there. It kind of broke there at the last part, but did a good job of cutting through. And a good part of doing this as well is to see how well this edge is going to hold up. Is it going to chip? Is it going to roll? No, it's not. It didn't. So now I got two little stakes ready to rock and roll. Char paint flying away. Now I got to make a fire, guys, right? So we got to get some wood curls. Guys, this is seasoned almond wood. We're going to make some fire curls out of this. This stuff is hard. I don't know if you guys know anything about almond wood, but when that stuff gets dried out and old, it gets hard and makes good firewood. But it also makes it a little difficult to cut sometimes. So we're going to come in here. Make some fire curls. Yeah, that's doing a pretty good job. Again, I got my thumb on that jimping on the back. It's not really eating my thumb up, which is nice. Got some pretty decent little fire curls there. Now, guys, I'll admit I'm not the best at making fire curls, so I like to do it this way. I like to stick the knife into the wood, and I actually like to draw the wood over the edge of the knife. I feel like I get better fire curls this way. I have a little bit more control, and my big old mongoloid meat paws don't cut the fire curls off the stick. You guys can see there. There's my hand done ones. There's where I draw the blade. I like my drawn ones a little bit better. So everybody's different though, guys. However you practice doing your fire curls stuff, do it that way. Do what works best for you, right? We just stuck this knife into the stump, and we still got a needle point tip. One of the things I like to do is I also do fire curls with like a softer wood, because depending on where you're at, you might have hardwood in your forest, you might have softwood, you might have a combination of both. So let's see what both look like. So again, we're going to stick that in here. This is came off of a 2x4 or something like that, so it's definitely softer. I guess you could also say this simulates like if you're doing a fire stick or something like that on green wood. Green wood's typically softer as well, but you are going to have a little bit more of a hard time getting green wood to light up. But man, look at that. Definitely come in and make some really nice fire curls on softwood. It's just eating through here. Oh, cut that one off. Again, that's the nice thing though, if you accidentally cut them off, they land right here in front of you, like so. But look at this. Definitely get a fire started with that. Very nice. There is no 90-degree. Everything's rounded off really nicely, which is nice. So I would not suspect you'd be able to strike a fire still with this unless you made a flat spot. Everything's pretty nicely rounded. So striking a fire still with this, you might have a little bit of a hard time. You might have to use the edge, which obviously most people don't recommend. But if you're in that emergency situation, you do what you got to do, right? So fire curls, fire stick, absolutely. Again, you might get into that situation where you're like, crap, I'm stuck out in the woods. This is the only knife I happen to have on me. We went on a day hike. You know, we got stuck out here. I got to get to some dry wood to make some fire curls. So we're going to do a little bit of light batoning, guys. Nothing too crazy. Again, you don't know what you're going to run into out there. So this is a piece of, again, seasoned almond wood. This is hard. You got to come in. You're like, I don't know, you're in the Pacific Northwest, Oregon, I don't know, somewhere where it's wet. You know it's dry down in the middle. You need that dry wood to get your fire going. So we're going to come in over the top right here, and we're just going to do a little light batoning just to get down to that dry spot. Right past a curve and a knot. Bam. Right in there. Not a problem. There's no chipping or rolling on that edge either, which is awesome. So come down here, we'll go through it again. And guys, there's a knot right here in this section as well. So we got to get through that knot. Oh, right there into a knot as well. Just skirt it past the knot into another knot. Bam. So now if you're watching my channel and you're like, what are you talking about knots for? Well, guys, if you don't know, knots in wood is ridiculously hard. They almost act like rocks in some degree. And to be able to get through a knot and not suffer any damage to the edge is a pretty good feat. And this did not suffer any damage to the edge. Come in here, do another one. And again, I'm doing the harder wood, guys. I mean, obviously, if we got to baton through some soft wood, I don't think we're going to have an issue there. Damn. Oh, just split that piece off. Not a problem. Here we got a stick, guys. Check this thing out. Definitely have cross piece here, knotted up. Come in here. We'll go through that as well. Look at that. Split right through it with no issues at all. Cerakote is holding up pretty good as well. You can definitely see some scratches in it, but it's nothing too crazy. Again, if you're buying your knife to be a user, I don't think you're really going to worry about that too much anyway. So here's a thicker piece of stick. We're going to baton through this. It's not really thicker. You know what? We're going to cross baton through this one. Cross batoning against the grain, guys, is also very tough on the knife edge. Bam, right there. Split it as well. That's still good, guys. No issue there. So this S45VN is holding up pretty good, guys. Trying to find something just a little. All right, guys, we're gonna take it up a notch. This is obviously a bigger piece of wood. This is not designed to be baton through this, okay, by any means. It's just not big enough. You're not going to have enough room to really hit the edge, hit the tip, the top edge of the tip. But I'm going to come right here on the corner, and we're going to just try to take a little sliver off the corner here where I know I can still hit some of the tip. And guys, this is, again, seasoned almond wood. Tough stuff. This also puts a lot of pressure on that tip, guys, because I'm hitting that tip as well. Look at that, split it. It's already kind of coming off. Bam. Cool. Now we got a good piece here. We could definitely come in here, make our fire curls and stuff like that. Get our fire going, you know, and survive the night. Hitting up on that tip, didn't do any tip damage. That's still good to go. So it's a fairly tough knife, guys. I mean, it's going to do some light batoning. Again, you're not going to be coming in and doing major cross batoning. If you absolutely had to, I guess you could give it a shot. On this channel, we're not here to just try to destroy knives. We're here to just try to demonstrate. If you had to get away with some stuff, you can. Give you guys a look here. A couple of pieces, knot here. There's kind of a knot right down here, and there's definitely a knot down there in the bottom. So you know what? We're going to start right up here in the knot side. You guys see that knot right there? I want to just make sure you guys understand that this thing is pretty tough, and it's going to be able to handle some harder tasks if you need it to. Right into the knot, right through it. Bam, split that spot. Let's hit that knot again. Bam, broke that sucker off. Yeah, edge is still fine. So holding up pretty damn good, guys. So I'm pretty impressed so far. I'm liking it. So here, again, seasoned piece of almond wood. Oh, this is actually something that you probably could baton through a little better because look, it's a little thinner. Glad I saw this piece. So we're going to come right over the top here. I know. You guys are like, why do you keep batoning? Honestly, because I want to know if this thing's going to hold up. Because again, I didn't see a whole lot of testing videos on YouTube with Half Face Blades, and they're a reputable company, and I want to make sure that they're nice and good. So here we got. Sorry, I got a phone call. So we're going to do the tip test, guys. This is a seasoned almond wood. This is a little bit of a thinner tip, guys. I would not, if you stab into something, go left or right. You are going to run the risk of snapping that tip off. You guys can look there. It's definitely a little bit thinner. So I would just, if you're going to stab into something, make sure you go forward and back and come straight out. Don't go left and right, okay? So you know, we're not trying to break stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew, that's still a good needle point tip, guys. No issues there. 10 stabs into seasoned almond wood. Pretty impressive. I like it. Guys, for an everyday carry belt knife, this thing is going to be great. It's a good size. It has a really good look to it. And when I say that, I say when you're throwing this in the leather sheath on your hip, people aren't going to really look twice at you about it. They're going to look at you and, oh, he's just carrying a nice little grandpa's knife or something like that, right? It's weird. You throw something in Kydex and all of a sudden you're, like tactical or something. You can carry this in a lot of different environments because it just has a really good classy look to it, but it's also going to perform well in your EDC task and some of the harder wood tasks that you might have to put it through. So would I recommend this half face blade? Heck yeah, I would. I think this thing's pretty awesome. It's nice. It handles everything really well. It held up. The edge held up really nicely. The tip, it held up fantastic. I'd highly recommend picking one of these up. And again, if you're looking for a half face blade, obviously you can check their website. They might be sold out. Go check the Knife Connection, guys. They are an authorized dealer for half face blades, so make sure you're going and following the Knife Connection as well. I'll have a link to their website down below. Support the local dealers as well. All right, everybody, that's what we got for today. Half face blades ishi. Stay safe, stay sharp. We'll see you on the next one.